People typically hear about atoms for the first time around the age of 12. This concept, which provides a logical explanation of the building blocks of our universe, becomes a so vital piece of knowledge to us over time that we forget its origins. But when did this idea first appear? Who was the first to propose the existence of atoms? In the 5th century BCE, a brilliant mind emerged in ancient Greece, leaving an indelible mark on the development of Western philosophy and science. Democritus of Abdera, the ancient Greek thinker known as the Laughing Philosopher and the father of atomic theory. Born around 460 BCE in Abdera, Democritus was the son of a wealthy family. His father was a noble who had made a fortune through his connections with the royal court of Persia. According to ancient sources, he traveled extensively in his quest for knowledge, visiting Egypt, Persia, Babylon, and other centers of learning. These journeys exposed him to a diverse range of philosophical and scientific ideas, which he would later synthesize into his own unique worldview. Upon his return to Abdera, Democritus established himself as a respected philosopher and teacher, attracting students from all over Greece. Democritus adopted the rationalist worldview of his teacher, Leucippus. Rationalism is a philosophical approach that emphasizes the use of reason and logic to understand the world, rather than relying solely on empirical observation or religious beliefs. Rationalists believe that the mind is capable of discerning truth through the use of reason and that the physical world can be understood through the application of logical principles. Similar to other early rationalists, he held some ideas that may seem surprisingly modern to us today. For example, he held that the Milky Way is a collection of countless tiny stars and that the Moon is a world similar to Earth, complete with mountains and valleys. Democritus is perhaps best known for his groundbreaking theory of atoms. The term atomos derives from the Greek words for indivisible and uncuttable, reflecting his belief that the universe is composed of tiny, indivisible particles that are eternal, homogeneous, and in constant motion. These atoms differ in shape, size, and arrangement, giving rise to the diverse phenomena observed in the natural world. He claimed that these atoms are eternal, unchangeable, and indestructible, and are the fundamental building blocks of the universe. For example, the atoms of water are smooth and round, which allows water to flow and take on no permanent shape. The atoms of fire, on the other hand, are thorny, which is what makes burns so painful. The atoms of earth are rough, causing them to hold together and form a hard and stable substance. Apparent changes in the nature of substances are simply the result of atoms separating and joining together in new patterns. According to Democritus, the void, the empty space in which atoms move and interact, is an essential component of the cosmos, allowing for the motion and combination of atoms. Or in other words, atoms are the only things that exist, aside from the void, or empty space, that exists between them. By rejecting the notion of empty space as nothingness, he paved the way for a materialist interpretation of the universe, in which all phenomena can be explained through the properties and interactions of atoms. According to Democritus, the motions and behavior of atoms are not arbitrary or subject to the whims of gods or demons, but rather are determined by fixed and immutable laws of nature. Democritus' atomic theory represented a radical departure from the dominant philosophical and scientific paradigms of his time, which relied on teleological explanations that invoked divine intervention or purpose. In contrast, he maintained that natural phenomena could be accounted for through the mechanical interactions of atoms, without recourse to supernatural agencies or final causes. Democritus was thus a pioneer of a mechanistic worldview, asserting that the operations of the universe are as predictable and deterministic as those of a machine. In his view, even the origin of the universe was the result of blind, random movements of a vast number of atoms. These movements ultimately led to the coalescing of atoms, forming the diverse array of worlds that exist. There are similarities between Democritus' atomic theory and modern theories of the structure of matter and cosmogony. However, there is a key difference. Democritus' conclusions were based on introspection and intuition, while modern theories are based on quantitative experiment and mathematical reasoning. As a result, his views could be opposed by other intuitive views, and the choice between them would be a matter of personal preference. Despite this, the ancient philosophers, for the most part, followed Socrates and his disciples instead of Democritus and his. Atomism, Democritus' theory, did not completely disappear, thanks to Epicurus, who over a century later, incorporated atomism into his own popular teachings. More importantly, Democritus was commonly referred to as the Laughing Philosopher, supposedly because his philosophy was fundamentally optimistic, or possibly because he was seen as mocking the foolishness of humanity. In addition to his pioneering work in natural philosophy, he developed a distinctive and influential ethical theory that centered on the concepts of pleasure, pain, and happiness. For Democritus, pleasure is the primary goal of human life, but it should not be equated with sensual indulgence or hedonism. Instead, he advocated for a moderate and balanced approach to pleasure, in which individuals seek to maximize their overall well-being and happiness by avoiding excessive or harmful pleasures and cultivating virtues such as self-control, wisdom, and justice. Democritus' ethical views were informed by his materialist metaphysics, which held that all phenomena, including human thoughts and emotions, are the result of atomic motion and combination. Accordingly, he maintained that happiness and virtue are not transcendent or divine qualities but rather the product of a certain arrangement and configuration of atoms in the soul or mind. One of Democritus' most distinctive and enduring contributions to ethical thought is his emphasis on the value of laughter and lightheartedness in the face of life's challenges and adversities. For him, laughter is a powerful antidote to the suffering and hardships that inevitably afflict human existence, providing a source of consolation, resilience, and even joy. He is considered to be the most successful of the ancient Greek natural philosophers, given the uncanny accuracy of his ideas from our current perspective. However, during his lifetime, he was overshadowed by his contemporary, Socrates, whose followers rejected Democritus' concept of the universe. Despite the profound significance of his ideas, Democritus' work has not survived intact, and much of what we know about his philosophy comes from the writings of later authors, such as Plutarch, Sextus Empiricus, and Diogenes Laertius. Unfortunately, out of the 72 books that Democritus is said to have written, almost none have survived to the present day. Our knowledge of him comes entirely from references, many of them unfriendly, in the works of other authors. In antiquity, Democritus' atomic theory was embraced and developed by Epicurus and his followers, who used it to articulate a comprehensive and coherent naturalistic worldview that encompassed physics, ethics, and epistemology. Later, during the scientific revolution, we will see that Democritus' ideas experienced a revival and played a crucial role in the emergence of modern atomic theory, as exemplified by the work of figures such as Robert Boyle, John Dalton, and Ernest Rutherford. By combining a rigorous and systematic approach to scientific inquiry with a deep and abiding commitment to ethical and philosophical reflection, Democritus of Abdera forged a distinctive and enduring legacy that transcends the boundaries of time, culture, and discipline. As we continue to grapple with the complex and pressing challenges of our age, Democritus' life and work serve as a powerful reminder of the enduring value and relevance of philosophical inquiry and the quest for knowledge.